Commander Jun Kim stood tall in his blue uniform as he watched his daughter Han walk across the stage. Her black graduation gown flowed behind her. The sun shone bright over Seoul that day. 50 years of peace had made days like this common. Families could gather without fear. Children could grow up safe. "I'm proud of you," Jun said when Han reached him after the ceremony. He hugged her tight. "Thanks, Dad," Han said with a smile. "Will you be home for dinner? Mom is making your favorite." Jun nodded. Nothing could keep me away. His wrist device buzzed. So much for promises. He looked down at the small screen and frowned. Strange energy readings at the edge of the solar system. Probably nothing. But as a commander in Earth's defense force, he had to check. "I need to make a quick call," he told Han. "I'll meet you at the car." Jun stepped away from the crowd and pressed his finger to his ear device. "Kim here. What's happening?" The voice of Captain Subin Lee came through. "Sir, our deep space sensors picked up unusual activity near Pluto's orbit. Multiple objects appearing out of nowhere." "Asteroid field?" Jun asked. "No, sir. These are moving against gravity. Controlled flight patterns. We've never seen anything like it." Jun's heart beat faster. Alert level 2. "I'm on my way to headquarters." He found Han waiting by his car. The joy in her eyes made the next words harder. "Han, I'm sorry. I have to go in." Her smile fell. "But Mom's dinner." "I'll try to make it back," he said. He didn't make promises he couldn't keep. Not anymore. At Earth Defense Headquarters in Seoul, screens showed the strange objects moving closer to Earth. Not just objects, ships. Hundreds of them. "Any response to our messages?" Jun asked as he entered the control room. "None, sir," Subin answered. Her face was tight with worry. Ambassador Hannah Park stood nearby. Her job was to speak for Earth to any visitors. "We've sent greetings in all known formats," she said. "If they can understand any human language or mathematical sequence, they should be able to respond." The room fell silent as the largest ship in the alien fleet suddenly transmitted a message. The screens filled with strange symbols that quickly changed to Korean. "They translated our language," someone whispered. The message was simple. "Your planet has what we need. Surrender now or face destruction." Hannah stepped forward. "Let me talk to them. There must be a peaceful solution." Jun nodded. "Open a channel." Hannah spoke clearly. "This is Ambassador Hannah Park of United Earth. We welcome peaceful contact and wish to understand your needs. Perhaps we can help each other without conflict." The response came quickly. "We are the Vorax Dominion. What we need, we take. You have 1 Earth hour to surrender your defenses." General Taho Choi, the highest-ranking officer present, shook his head. "We can't surrender. Not without even knowing what they want." "Sir," Subin called out, "the alien fleet is launching smaller ships. They're heading toward our orbital defense stations." Jun watched the screens as hundreds of small craft sped toward Earth's protective ring of space stations. "Battle stations," General Choi ordered. "All personnel to defense positions." Jun thought of Han and his wife waiting at home with dinner getting cold. 50 years of peace had made humanity soft. They had forgotten the hard lessons of their violent past. "Sir," Subin said quietly beside him, "the first alien ships have reached Luna Base. They're opening fire." On the main screen, bright flashes lit up the dark side of the moon as Earth's outposts there fought back. "So it begins," Jun said. The last day of peace ended as it had begun, with the rising of the sun. But this sunrise came from weapons fire in orbit, visible even from the ground as streaks of light across the morning sky. When peace ended, humanity would have to march forward, or perish. 3 months had passed since the Vorax attack began. Earth was losing the war. Colonel Jun Kim stood on the command deck of Titan Base, looking out at Saturn's rings. Once, they had been a beautiful sight. Now they were just another place for enemy ships to hide. "Status report," Jun said to Major Subin Lee. Not good, sir, Subin said. Her face was thin from lack of sleep. Vorax ships have broken through our outer defenses. We have 2 million civilians on Titan, and only enough ships to evacuate half. June closed his eyes for a moment. 2 million people. The largest human colony outside Earth, and he was in charge of saving them. How long until the main Vorax fleet arrives? He asked. 6 hours, maybe less. June nodded. Then we have 6 hours to find a way to hold them off. The door to the command center opened. Dr. Minayun walked in, carrying a tablet. Her lab coat was stained with coffee. She hadn't slept in days. Colonel Kim, she said, I need to show you something. On her tablet was a video of a recent battle. A small human fighter ship had hit a Vorax cruiser. The Vorax shield had failed, but only in one small spot. Do you see it? Minna asked. Their shields have a pattern. When they take a hit here, she pointed to a spot on the ship. The energy flow breaks for 2.3 seconds. Subin leaned closer. Could we use that? If we can hit all their ships in that exact spot at the same time, yes, Minna said. But we would need to modify our weapons, and we don't have time. June looked at the evacuation reports, at the Vorax fleet approaching, at the 2 million people counting on him. We will make time, he said. Major Lee, get a team working on those weapon changes. Dr. Yoon, what else do you need? Access to the main defense grid, Minna said, and maybe a miracle. June managed a small smile. I'll work on the miracle. You handle the defense grid. 4 hours later, alarms blared through Titan Base. The Vorax had arrived early. Evacuation status, June asked, running into the command center. First wave of civilians is away, Subin reported. We've loaded all children under 10, working on the rest. And the weapons. We've modified 30 fighters with Dr. Yoon's targeting system. It's not enough to stop them, but it might slow them down. Outside, the first Vorax ships entered Titan's atmosphere. Their dark hulls blocked out the distant sun. Launch the fighters, June ordered, and get Dr. Yoon on the next evacuation ship. Her research is too important to lose. Subin hesitated. Sir, what about you? I'll be on the last ship out. Now go. As Subin left, Jun watched the battle unfold on the main screen. The modified human fighters targeted the weak spots in the Vorax shields. Some got through. Most didn't, but it was enough to slow the enemy down. 4 more hours passed. The base shook with each Vorax attack. Half the colony was evacuated. Then 60%. 70. Colonel. Subin called over the radio. We have to leave now. This section of the base is collapsing. June looked at the evacuation numbers. 80%. Not everyone would make it, but they had saved more than he had hoped. All remaining personnel to final evacuation ships, he ordered. He was the last to board, helping an injured worker onto the ship before climbing in himself. As the doors closed, he saw Vorax troops entering the hangar. The ship shot away from Titan just as the main colony dome collapsed. Behind them, the largest human settlement outside Earth fell to alien hands. Where to, sir? The pilot asked. June looked at Subin, at Mina, at the faces of the survivors. To fight another day, he said. We know their weakness now. And next time, we'll be ready. As Titan burned behind them, the seeds of humanity's resistance took root. They had lost a battle, but the war was far from over. 6 months after the war began, what remained of humanity's leaders gathered in a hidden base deep beneath the Marianas Trench. The underwater facility had been built decades ago as a last resort. Now it was home to Earth's final hope. General Jung Kim, newly promoted after the Titan evacuation, sat at a round table with the other survivors. His uniform hung loose on his frame. Like everyone else, he had lost weight since the war started. Report, said General Taho Choi, the only surviving member of Earth's High Command. His voice was weak, but his eyes remained sharp. Dr. Minayun stood up. The data from Titan had given her an idea. The Vorax shields have a flaw, she said. She showed them images on a large screen. During my escape from Titan, I collected more data. Their shield generators create a pattern that repeats every 3 seconds. There's a moment when the energy flow shifts, creating a weak point. She pointed to a spot near the back of a Vorax ship. If we hit them here, with the right timing, we can punch through their defenses. Major Subin Lee spoke next. We've confirmed this works, but our current weapons aren't strong enough to do real damage in that short window. So we need new weapons, General Choi said. Dr. Yoon nodded. I call it Project Phoenix. We modify our ships and build new weapons designed to exploit this weakness. How long? Jim asked. With the materials we have. Months, maybe a year. Minna frowned. We need more resources. Silence fell over the room. Earth's surface was now controlled by the Vorax. Most of their shipyards were destroyed or captured. There's one option, Jun said after a moment. The abandoned shipyards in Earth orbit. If they're still intact, they would have everything we need. That's suicide, someone said. Those yards are in the heart of Vorax territory now. Which is why they might not expect us, Jun replied. I can lead a small team. In and out quickly. General Choi studied him. You've earned the right to stay safe, General Kim. Let someone else take this risk. Jun shook his head. With respect, sir, I know those shipyards better than anyone. I helped design them. After a long pause, General Choi nodded. Assemble your team. You leave in 48 hours. 2 days later, Jun prepared his team. Subin Lee would be his second in command. The third member was Do-Hyun Kang, a civilian engineer who had lost his family on Titan. I don't care about your rules or your chain of command, Do-Hyun told Jun bluntly. But I know those shipyards. I helped build them. And I want the Vorax to pay for what they did. Their ship was small and dark, designed to avoid detection. As they approached Earth, they saw the devastation. Once green continents were now brown and gray. Smoke rose from many areas. Why are they burning everything? Subin asked. If they wanted to destroy us, why not just use bigger weapons? Good question, Jun said. Let's find out. They reached the shipyards without being detected. Once great centers of human achievement, they now floated empty and dark. The team docked and entered in spacesuits. Check for materials first, Jun ordered. Then we'll see what else we can learn. They split up. Jun found the main storage areas mostly intact. They would have what they needed for Project Phoenix. But something felt wrong. General, Do-Hyun called over the radio. You need to see this. Jun found him looking through a viewport at Earth below. A Vorax ship was hovering over what had once been the Amazon rainforest. It wasn't bombing or burning. Instead, it seemed to be harvesting. They're taking samples, Do-Hyun said. Plants, soil, water. They're collecting Earth's resources, not just destroying them. But why? Subin asked, joining them. Jun watched the methodical way the Vorax ship worked. Because they need something from us. Something specific. Does it matter? Do-Hyun's voice was bitter. They're still killing us for it. It matters, Jun said firmly. Because now we know this isn't just about destruction. They want something, and that gives us leverage. As they gathered the materials for Project Phoenix, Jun felt something he hadn't felt since the war began. Hope. The Vorax weren't invincible. They had weaknesses. They had needs. And where there was need, there was opportunity. 1 year had passed since the Vorax invaded Earth. What began as a desperate fight for survival had grown into something more. Humanity was fighting back. General Jun Kim stood on the bridge of _freedom_, the command ship hidden in Europa's shadow. Jupiter loomed large through the viewport, its great red spots swirling like an angry eye. Status report, Jun said to the officer on duty. All ships in position, sir. The Vorax supply convoy will pass through this sector in 20 minutes. Jun nodded. In the years since the fall of Earth, they had established a pattern. Hit fast, hit hard, then disappear before the Vorax could respond. His comm unit beeped. "General, the _Defiance_ is ready." Major Subin Lee's voice came through. The _Defiance_ was special. It was the first ship fully modified with Dr. Yoon's technology to exploit the Vorax shield weakness. Today would be its first real test. "Proceed as planned, Major," Jones said. "And good hunting." As he watched the tactical display, Jun thought about how much had changed. The survivors from Earth had built a network of hidden bases throughout the solar system. Europa, the asteroid belt, even the dark side of Earth's moon now housed human resistance fighters. The display lit up as the Vorax convoy appeared. 6 large supply ships with only 2 warships as guards. Perfect. The _Defiance_ moved first, striking the lead warship exactly at its shield weakness. The modified weapons punched through, causing a cascade of explosions along the Vorax vessel. It worked, someone shouted. The rest of the human fleet engaged. The battle was short but fierce. When it ended, all Vorax ships were destroyed or disabled, and the humans had captured valuable supplies and technology. "Minimal damage to our fleet," the tactical officer reported. The shield penetration worked exactly as Dr. Yoon predicted. For the first time in months, Jun allowed himself a small smile. "Have Major Lee bring the _Defiance_ back to base. We have more work to do." On Earth, in what had once been North America, Ambassador Hannah Park walked through a crowded market. Her face was partially hidden by a scarf, her hands stained with dirt to blend in. The Vorax allowed humans to live in designated zones, to work and provide for basic needs. What the aliens didn't know was that Hannah wasn't just surviving. She was gathering intelligence. She stopped at a food stall run by an old man named Jin. "The usual?" he asked loudly. Then, in a whisper, they moved another harvester to the mountains. Something about mineral concentration. Hannah nodded slightly. "Yes, the usual. Extra spice. Their code for 'I have information too.'" That night, in her small room, Hannah wrote down everything she had learned. The Vorax were intensifying their harvesting operations. They seemed increasingly desperate to find something. A soft knock came at her window. It was her contact, a former Earth Defense Force soldier who helped smuggle information off-planet. "New orders," he whispered, handing her a small data chip. "They want you to access the Vorax command center." Hannah's eyes widened. "That's impossible. The security. They've arranged for you to be selected as a human liaison. The Vorax are choosing workers with scientific backgrounds to help identify Earth resources." Hannah had been a xenobiologist before becoming an ambassador. Her cover identity included that detail. It was a risk, but also an opportunity. "When?" she asked. "Tomorrow. Be ready." The next day, Hannah stood inside the Vorax command center, trying to keep her face neutral. Around her, the aliens moved with purpose. They were tall, with gray-blue skin and 4 arms. Their faces had no nose, just breathing slits and large eyes that never seemed to blink. "Human," one addressed her. "You will help identify these samples." Hannah nodded and began working. As she examined plants and soil samples, she carefully watched the Vorax. They seemed agitated, communicating in rapid clicks and whistles. One screen showed a map of Earth with red markers across all oceans. The Vorax were searching for something in the water, something specific. When no one was looking, Hannah pressed a tiny device against a data terminal. It copied everything it could reach. That night, as she transmitted the stolen data to the Resistance, Hannah finally understood why the Vorax had come to Earth. They weren't just invaders. They were desperate. And what they needed could only be found on one planet in the galaxy: Earth. Hannah Park's escape from Earth was not easy. For 3 days, she hid in cargo containers, crawled through drainage pipes, and finally reached the abandoned launch site where a small Resistance ship waited. The flight to Europa was tense. Twice they had to hide from Vorax patrols. But finally, the small craft docked at the hidden base carved into the icy moon's surface. General Jum Kim was waiting when she arrived. His face showed relief when he saw her. "Ambassador Park," he said formally, though his eyes were warm. "Welcome back." "I have the data," Hannah said, holding up the small device she had risked her life to protect. "And I think I know what the Vorax want." They walked quickly to the command center where Dr. Mina Yun waited. The scientist took the device and plugged it into her computer. "This will take time to analyze," Mina said, fingers already flying over the keyboard. "But from what I can see, this is incredible." "What is it?" June asked. "The Vorax are dying," Mina said simply. "Their genetic code is breaking down. They need something to stop it, and they think Earth has it." Hannah nodded. "They're searching the oceans. All their harvesting operations are focused on deep sea areas. For hours, they studied the stolen data." Mina worked without stopping, her eyes growing red with fatigue. Finally, she leaned back in her chair. "I found it," she said. "There's an enzyme in Earth's deep ocean bacteria. It can repair damaged DNA. The Vorax needed to survive." "So they invaded us for medicine?" June asked, his voice tight with anger. "Yes," Mina said. "Their species is dying. Without this enzyme, they'll be extinct within a generation." Do-Yun Kang, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. The engineer's face was hard. "Good," he said. "Let them die. They killed millions of us. My wife, my children, all gone because these aliens needed medicine." "This changes everything," Jum said, ignoring Do-Yun's outburst. "If they need something from us to survive, we have leverage." "Leverage." Do-Yun's voice rose. "We should use this knowledge to kill them all. Create a weapon that targets their genetic flaw." "And become like them?" Hannah asked quietly. "Is that what humanity should do?" The room fell silent. General Taho Choi, who had been listening from his chair, finally spoke. His health had gotten worse, but his mind remained sharp. "Both paths are open to us," the old general said. "We could develop a weapon, as Do-Yun suggests, or we could seek peace." "Peace." Do-Yun spat the word. "After everything they've done." "Consider this," General Choi said. "If the Vorax are desperate for survival, they might agree to terms they wouldn't otherwise accept. We could end this war without more bloodshed." June looked at each person in the room. At Do-Yun, whose grief had turned to rage. At Hannah, who still believed in diplomacy. At Mina, whose scientific mind saw all possibilities. "We need more information," June decided. "We need to know if the Vorax would even consider peace, or if they're too far gone in their desperation." "How do we find that out?" Hannah asked. June's face was grim. "We need to capture one. A high-ranking Vorax who knows their true goals. Their plans." "That's never been done," Subin Lee said from the doorway. She had just arrived from the _Defiance_. "Then we'll be the first," June said. "Major Lee, prepare your ship. Dr. Yun, I need you to come too. Your knowledge of their biology will be essential." "What about me?" Do-Yun asked. June studied him. The man's hands were clenched, his eyes burning with hate. "You'll stay here," June said firmly. "This mission requires clear heads." As they prepared for the most dangerous mission yet, June thought about the strange turn the war had taken. What began as a fight for survival might end with humanity holding the fate of another species in its hands. The question now was, what would they choose to do with that power? The plan was dangerous but simple. General Jum Kim would lead a large attack against the Vorax fleet near Mars as a distraction. Meanwhile, Major Subin Lee would take the _Defiance_ and a small team to infiltrate the Vorax flagship. "We'll only get one chance at this," Jum told his officers. "If we fail, the Vorax will tighten security everywhere." The command center was tense as they went over the details one last time. Dr. Minayun would go with Subin's team. Her knowledge of Vorax biology might be the difference between success and failure. What about Doyan? Subin asked quietly. June frowned. He's been assigned to the Mars offensive. Keep him away from the flagship mission. His hatred for the Vorax clouds his judgment. As they prepared to leave, General Taho Choi called June to his private quarters. The old man's health was failing, but his mind remained sharp. If you capture a Vorax leader, Choi said, remember that how we treat them will shape any future peace. We must be better than our enemies. June nodded. I understand, sir. Do you? Choi asked. War makes it easy to see enemies as monsters. But from what we've learned, the Vorax are just trying to survive. Like us. June thought of his daughter Han, safe in one of the hidden asteroid colonies. What wouldn't he do to ensure her survival? I'll remember, he promised. The battle near Mars began at 600 hours. June led a fleet of 30 ships against the Vorax patrol. The fighting was fierce. Human ships darted in and out, using Dr. Yoon's shield-penetrating technology to strike at weak points. Keep them focused on us, June ordered. The _Defiance_ needs time. On the other side of Mars, Subin Lee guided the _Defiance_ toward the massive Vorax flagship. Her ship's special coating absorbed radar and heat, making it nearly invisible. 2 minutes to contact, she told her team. Prepare for boarding. Dr. Yoon checked her equipment one last time. Remember, we need specimens and data. And if possible, a live subject. The _Defiance_ attached to the flagship's hull near a maintenance hatch. Cutting through was surprisingly easy. The Vorax, confident in their superiority, had not expected humans to reach their command ship. Inside, the team moved quickly through alien corridors. The design was strange. Ceilings too high, hallways too wide for human comfort. Life signs ahead, whispered the team's scanner operator. One Vorax, isolated. Perfect, Subin said. Dr. Yoon, stay back. We'll secure the area first. They surrounded a door that looked important. On Subin's signal, they burst in. Inside was a single Vorax, smaller than most they had seen. It wore an elaborate collar that Dr. Yoon had identified as a mark of scientific rank. Before the alien could react, the team had it surrounded. We don't want to hurt you, Subin said, though she knew the Vorax couldn't understand her. We just need information. Dr. Yoon stepped forward with a translator device she had built from captured Vorax technology. She spoke into it, and strange clicking sounds came out. The Vorax responded with a burst of clicks and whistles. The translator processed this, then spoke in a flat voice. I am Carix, senior biologist. You will kill me now. No, Minna said into the translator. We want to talk. About the enzyme you seek. About a possible peace. The Vorax's large eyes widened. It spoke again, the translator working to keep up. Peace? Impossible. War is necessary. My people die without Earth enzyme. We could share it, Minna said, without more killing. The confusion on the alien's face was clear even to humans. Share? Without conquest? Not possible. An alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Subin's comm unit crackled. Major, it was June's voice. The Mars offensive is falling apart. Dohyam took a strike team and broke formation. He's attacking the Vorax command ship on his own. Subin looked at the captured Vorax, then at Mena. We need to go. Now. Bring him. As they rushed back to the _Defiance_ with their prisoner, Subin realized that Doyan might have just destroyed their best chance for peace. The war had reached a turning point, but in which direction it would turn, no one could say. The main conference room on Europa base was filled with angry voices. The capture of Carix, the Vorax biologist, had split the human resistance into two groups. We should use what we know to create a weapon, Do Kang said, his voice rising above the others. Target their genetic flaw. End this war once and for all. Many nodded in agreement. Do rogue action during the Mars offensive had nearly cost them the mission, but he had returned a hero to many who shared his pain, and become no better than them. Hana Park countered. We have a chance for peace now. General Jun Kim watched the argument spread like fire. He was tired. The last mission had been costly. They had lost 7 ships and 32 good people. Enough, he said finally. His voice wasn't loud, but the room fell silent anyway. We will hear what our guest has to say. At his signal, Subin Lee brought Kerix into the room. The Vorax looked strange in the human facility, smaller than most of its kind, with blue-gray skin and 4 thin arms. Its large eyes blinked rapidly in the bright light. Dr. Minayun stood next to the alien with her translator device. Tell them what you told me, she said to Kerix. The Vorax spoke, its clicks and whistles converted to flat human speech by the translator. My people die. Our DNA breaks down. Each generation, fewer children live. The enzyme in Earth oceans can save us. Then why attack us? June asked. Why not ask for help? Kerix's head tilted in what they had learned was confusion. Ask, weak die. Strong take. This is way of universe. Not our way, Hana said. Kerix continued. Many Vorax wanted peaceful contact. Council of Elders voted. Military leaders won. Said humans would not share. Would use our weakness against us. Dohyun laughed bitterly. They were right. That's exactly what we should do. His words made June uncomfortable because they proved the Vorax leaders correct. The room grew tense again as people took sides. Just then, a loud crash interrupted the meeting. General Taho Choi had collapsed. His face was pale, his breathing shallow. Get the doctor, June ordered as he rushed to the old man's side. Hours later, June sat by Choi's bed in the medical bay. The old general was stable but weak. A wound from an earlier Vorax attack had become infected. You must hold them together, Choi whispered. Don't let hate guide us. I'm trying, Jun said, but Dohyun's faction grows stronger every day. Then give them hope of another way. Later that night, Hana found June in the observation dome, looking up at Jupiter's swirling storms. How is he? She asked. Stable, but weak. The doctor says it could go either way. They stood in silence for a moment. Kerix has been talking more, Hana said finally. There's a faction among the Vorax who opposed the war. They wanted peaceful contact from the beginning. Do they still exist? Kerix thinks so. They went into hiding when the military took control. June considered this. If we could contact them. A sudden alert interrupted them. Subin Lee's voice came over the comm system. General, we've detected unusual activity in Dohyun's lab. He's accessed the Vorax genetic data. June and Hana rushed to the lab level, but Subin met them in the corridor, her face grim. He's gone, she said, and he took copies of all Dr. Yoon's research on the Vorax genetic flaw. What's he planning? Hana asked. A bioweapon, Jun said grimly. One that would kill all Vorax, even those who might be allies. As they organized search teams, Jun felt the weight of command more heavily than ever. The resistance was fracturing. General Choi was ill. And now Dohyun had gone rogue with the power to destroy an entire species. What now? Subin asked. Jun straightened his shoulders. We prepare for our final offensive. And we find Dohyun before he does something we'll all regret. The future of 2 species now hung in the balance, and time was running out. For 3 days, search teams looked for Dohyun Kang. They found him in an abandoned mining outpost in the asteroid belt. General Jun Kim went alone to talk to him. The small room was filled with lab equipment Dohyun had stolen. In the center stood Dohyun, his eyes wild with lack of sleep. I knew you would find me, Dohyun said, but you're too late. It's almost ready. "What's almost ready?" June asked, though he already knew. "Justice," Do-Yun said, pointing to a container filled with clear liquid. "One drop in Earth's oceans, and the enzyme the Vorax need becomes poison to them. They all die, every last one." "That's not justice," Jun said. "That's genocide. They started this," Do-Yun shouted. "They killed my family, millions of humans. And now you'll kill millions of them, including those who wanted peace." Do-Yun's hand moved toward a weapon on the table. "I won't let you stop me." June stepped forward. "Think, Do-Yun. Your family wouldn't want this. They wouldn't want you to become what you hate." "You don't know what they would want," Do-Yun said, grabbing the weapon. "They're dead." "So is my wife," Jun said quietly. "She died in the first attack. But I keep fighting for something better than revenge." Do-Yun hesitated, then fired. The shot hit Jun in the shoulder, spinning him around. As he fell, Jun launched himself at Do-Yun. They fought, crashing into tables and equipment. Despite his wound, Jun managed to knock Do-Yun unconscious. As he secured the bioweapon and called for backup, Jun knew the wound was bad. Very bad. "He'll live," Dr. Yoon told Subin Lee outside the medical bay. "But he won't be leading any attacks soon." Subin nodded. As Jun's second-in-command, command of the resistance now fell to her. "Have we lost our chance for a coordinated strike?" Hana Park asked. "No," Subin said firmly. "We proceed as planned. General Kim worked too hard for this. We won't let him down." The plan was bold. While most human ships attacked Vorax positions around Earth, a small team including Hana and Dr. Yoon would try to contact the Vorax peace faction. Kerix had given them frequencies and recognition codes. As Subin prepared the fleet, she visited Jun in the medical bay. "The fleet is ready," she told him. "We launch in 6 hours." "Be careful," Jun said, his voice weak. "Do-Yun may have supporters, and the Vorax will fight hard." "We'll succeed," Subin promised. "Rest and get better. That's an order, General." The battle above Earth was the largest of the war. Over 50 human ships against hundreds of Vorax vessels. It seemed hopeless, but the humans had surprise on their side. And desperation. Subin directed the attack from the _Defiance_. "All ships target their shield weak points." Human vessels darted in and out, striking with precision. The Vorax, not expecting such a large attack, responded slowly at first. Meanwhile, Hana and Dr. Yoon broadcast on the frequencies Kerix had provided. "This is Ambassador Hana Park of Earth. We seek contact with those who desire peace." For long minutes, there was no response. The battle raged around them. Human ships began to fall to the superior Vorax numbers. "It's not working," Hana said. "They're not answering." Then, just as hope began to fade, several Vorax ships broke formation. They turned their weapons not on the humans, but on other Vorax vessels. "They're helping us," someone shouted. The battle became chaotic as Vorax fought Vorax. The human fleet pressed the advantage. Then a new alert sounded. "Unidentified ship approaching Earth's atmosphere," a sensor operator reported. "It's one of ours, but not responding to hails." Subin checked the transponder code. "It's Do-Yun. He must have escaped custody." On the screen, they watched as Do-Yun's small ship dove toward Earth's oceans, toward the enzyme fields, toward the place where his bioweapon would do the most damage. "If he releases that weapon, any chance of peace dies with it," Hana said. Subin made a quick decision. "All nearby ships, intercept that vessel." 3 human fighters broke off and chased Do-Yun's ship. It was going to be close. Then, to everyone's surprise, Do-Yun's ship suddenly changed course. Instead of heading toward the ocean, it turned toward a large Vorax command ship that had just arrived. "What is he doing?" Dr. Yoon asked. They watched as Do-Yun's ship accelerated, not toward the ocean, but on a collision course with the Vorax command ship. The explosion was bright enough to see from space. Doyan Kang, consumed by revenge for so long, had made one final choice: not to destroy all Vorax, but to target those who had ordered the war. And in doing so, he had destroyed his bioweapon as well. On both sides, ships stopped firing as they witnessed his sacrifice. In that moment of silence, a new message came through on the Vorax frequency. We are ready to talk peace. 3 months after the Great Battle, humans and Vorax met on Ceres, the largest asteroid in the belt. Both sides chose this neutral ground carefully, neither Earth nor the Vorax homeworld. A new beginning. General Jung Kim walked slowly into the meeting hall. His wound had healed, but he would always carry a slight limp, a reminder of how close they had come to destroying themselves. The hall was large, with a round table in the center. On one side sat the human delegation: June, Ambassador Hana Park, Dr. Mina Yoon, and several others. Across from them were the Vorax, led by Eterix, head of their peace faction. Kerix, the captured biologist who had helped bridge understanding between the species, sat in the middle, belonging to neither side yet crucial to both. We are ready to begin, Hana said formally. Eterix stood. Unlike the military Vorax they had fought, Eterix wore simple robes rather than armor. When he spoke, Kerix translated. For too long, our people believed strength meant taking what we needed. We were wrong. Today we learn a new strength, the strength to ask, to share, to build together. June looked at the alien leader and saw, for the first time, not an enemy but someone trying to save their people, just as he had been doing. Earth will provide the enzyme your people need, June said when it was his turn to speak. We can harvest it without damaging our oceans. In return, you will share technology to help us rebuild. The negotiations continued for hours. There were hard moments when old anger rose up, but each time they found their way back to the central truth. Both species could survive, or both could fall. By day's end, the Sol System Accord was ready for signing. June and Eterix pressed their hands to the document together. A human handshake and a Vorax handpress. Different customs with the same meaning. Agreement. 1 year later, June stood on a platform in New Seoul, watching the first joint human-Vorax science center open its doors. Dr. Mina Yoon would lead the research team searching for a permanent cure to the Vorax genetic degradation. Quite a sight, isn't it? Subin Lee said, joining him. Now Admiral Lee, she commanded the combined defense fleet that protected the solar system. I never thought I'd see this, June admitted. Not after how the war began. Below them, human and Vorax children watched the ceremony together. The children seemed to have an easier time accepting each other than the adults did. There's still work to do, Subin said. The Vorax hardliners who fled to the outer system have been raiding outposts. June nodded. Peace was never simple. The Vorax military faction had retreated beyond Neptune, refusing to accept the accord. They remained a threat, but a distant one for now. Hana Park joined them, her new uniform marking her role as Earth's ambassador to the Vorax homeworld. I'm leaving tomorrow, she said, first human to visit their planet. Nervous? June asked. Terrified, Hana admitted with a smile. But excited too. Think of what we'll learn from each other. As the ceremony ended, Jun walked to the memorial wall where the names of those lost in the war were inscribed. So many names. He found Doyan Kang's and touched it gently. He found his way in the end, Subin said quietly. We all did, Jun replied. Later that day, Jun visited his daughter Han in her new apartment. She was studying xenobiology now, inspired by the peace. Do you think it will last? She asked him. The peace, I mean. June thought about the question carefully. Nothing lasts forever. But this peace has a chance because both sides need it, and because we've all seen the alternative. As he looked out the window at the rebuilt city, June reflected on the strange path that had brought them here. When peace had ended 2 years ago, humanity had been forced to march forward through darkness and loss. but they had emerged stronger, wiser, and part of something larger than themselves. The stars no longer seemed like distant, cold points of light. They were now doorways to a future that humans and Vorax would face together. When peace began anew, they all marched forward, together.